This is Ron Dittmars talking to you from the Erasmus Academy recording studios, and we have with our guest again, Chad. Chad, you want to say hello?
How's it going, Ron?
Great, great. So this is the second segment in our series on Bach, and you see on the screen here a picture of Anhalt Kosten, which was the first segment was describing that. And Chad, you want to say something about sort of his circumstances of composing and freedom that he had there? Just a word or two?
Yes, this was Bach's, one of his favorite places to work, actually. He was very productive, had a lot of artistic freedom, wrote a lot of instrumental music here. And actually, when he moved later to Leipzig, which I guess we'll talk about, a lot of that freedom was curtailed, and he was actually having to write a cantata a week over the course of a number of years. So that was a very different experience from what he was what he had experienced at Anhalt Köthen.
Great. Okay. Let's see. Here's another picture that you saw probably if you were attended the first segment, a historical picture of in Leipzig of the Thomaskirche, and this is the main part of the church here. It could seat 2,000. The front part of the church, the altar would be up in this area. And to the left here is where the archive, the Bach Museum archive is, where you can go and experience all the different phases of his creative life and career, and document his whole family and what they did and so on. And I actually was in Leipzig last November, but 4 years ago I was there also, and I drew a picture of this side of the church, which I'm just going to show you right now. Sort of a drawing that I made. I drew it first and then pen and ink, and then filled in the colors later on. It's not 100% accurate, but it's reminds me of the time I was there. Anyway, so this is the text we're going to look at today, Bach and Leipzig, and we're going to read the first section and then the section below it just a little bit today. Okay, so are you all set, Chad?
I'm good to go, Ron.
Okay. Great. Okay, and let's see if we can see this mark here. Okay, that's great. So Bach and Leipzig. Let's read this. 1725, everybody.
1725
hatte ich von neuem große Lust, das berühmte Leipzig zu sehen.
Das berühmte Leipzig zu sehen.
Okay, von neuem means renewed or again. So your verb is here, hatte. So I had in 1725. Große Lust. Now Lust is what? It means interest or desire, but it's not it's a false friend. It doesn't mean lust as we have in English, obviously, but that word actually comes from the German. So I had a great desire, and this is actually große. So this indicates that this is a feminine noun. I had again a great desire. Going on, das berühmte Leipzig zu sehen. Let's see, where's the infinitive there?
It's zu sehen.
Yeah, so I had the desire to see, a sort of complementary infinitive. Then this is the famous Leipzig. Going on, reiste demnach in der Ostermesse. Everybody?
Reisete demnach in der Ostermesse
An. Goes with reiste, so it means I arrived, or I traveled to, or I arrived. So I arrived shortly after demnach, during the Ostermesse. Messe is the festival of Easter. Going on, ich hatte das Glück, den berühmten Herrn Kapellmeister Bach kennenzulernen. Everybody?
Ich hatte das Glück, den berühmten Herrn Kapellmeister Bach kennenzulernen.
Okay, where's your verb?
Hatte.
Okay, and the subject is obviously ich. I had. Direct object is?
Das Glück.
Yeah, the happy fortune, the fortune, and then here you have a complementary infinitive to kennenzulernen, to become acquainted with. And where's your direct object?
Den berühmten Herrn Kapellmeister Bach.
This whole
Bach,
thing.
yes,
This whole thing, yeah. Okay, you want to just read that first sentence, and I'll move all these things away.
Sure. In 1725, I had renewed, or I guess I had once again a great desire to see the famous Leipzig.
Mhm.
I traveled there at that time. I'm sorry, I traveled there at the time of the Easter celebration.
Mhm.
I had the fortune, a good fortune, a luck or whatever, to meet the well-known Kapellmeister Bach.
Great. Berühmt also means famous, but I just use well known here. Great. Okay, let's move down. Sorry. Okay, so here we go, and today we're just going to cover from this down to this point right here. Okay, let's go on. Leipzig gehörte im 18. Jahrhundert. Everybody.
Leipzig gehörte im 18. Jahrhundert
Zu den kulturellen und wirtschaftlichen Metropolen Europas.
zu den kulturellen und wirtschaftlichen Metropolen Europas.
By the way, Leipzig is about a 3 or 4 hour bus ride south of Berlin. So it's in eastern Germany, formerly the East Germany, as opposed to in West Germany, the DDR, formerly. And it's in Thüringen, so it's a very interesting area to visit, and this is where Bach spent most of his life. Okay, so where's your verb in that first sentence?
Gehörte.
Yeah, so it belonged, and then this always takes a dative. So Leipzig belonged in the 18th century to the cultural and this is economic centers. And then here with it, you can always tack on an S with a proper noun to make it possessive. So you want to just read that first sentence? It's pretty straightforward.
Sure. Leipzig belonged in the 18th century among the cultural and economic metropolises, I guess, of Europe.
Good. Going on. Zur Handelsmesse, everybody.
Zur Handelsmesse,
die dreimal im Jahr stattfand, reisten Vertreter aus der ganzen Welt. Now, when you're analyzing this, since you're looking for the verb first of the main clause, what do you do with this first zur Handelsmesse? Could that be any part of the core sentence?
No, I think you'd be wise to skip over that, Ron.
Okay. Right. And then here's a relative clause beginning with D, so it won't be there. So where's your main verb then?
It would come right after the comma, reisten.
Reisten. So how would you translate this just by itself?
They traveled.
Good. So Chad supplied a they. So now you're looking for, and oftentimes we do this, we follow this procedure because it's very difficult sometimes to find the subject of the main clause. So we know that it's plural, so you're looking for a plural subject. So this has got to be the one here, Vertreter. Now you only know that this means representative. You only know that this is plural because of what?
Because of the verb itself.
If this were reiste, it would mean the representative traveled, but since it's reisten, so some nouns have a er ending both for the singular and the plural forms. That's why it's crucial to understand the number of the verb, if it's singular or plural. Okay, so representatives traveled from the entire world, aus der ganzen Welt. Then where would you continue there?
I'm sorry, what are you asking, Ron?
So if you start out the representatives traveled from the entire world, you would pick it up here.
Oh, traveled to the trade fair.
Good. And then what does the D refer back to? What is its antecedent?
It should be Handelsmesse.
Yeah, the trade fair, which, and then Stadt. What's the present tense of stattfand?
It should be stattfinden.
Yeah, which means to occur, which occurred, and then finish that.
3 times a year, basically.
Good. Let me erase this. Just do the first 2 sentences where we started. just to review for everybody. Go ahead.
Just reading it?
Yeah, just translate.
Okay. Leipzig in the 19th century
18th
belonged, sorry, yes, 18th century, belonged among the cultural and economic capitals, I guess, or something, of Europe. Representatives traveled from the entire world to the trade fair, which occurred 3 times in a year.
Good. Okay, going on. Die Universität lockte zahlreiche Studenten in die Stadt. Everybody?
Die Universität lockte zahlreiche Studenten in die Stadt.
A more direct sentence. Here's your verb. It means to attract. Is it strong verb or a weak verb?
It's weak.
Weak verb. That means the vowel never changes as it moves from the present tense to the past tense. Okay. And this is obviously the subject, the university, and then the direct object is?
Studenten.
Good. Right. So if you were to identify how the verb transfers its action to the direct object, you would just use an arrow like this. Okay. And then what about in die Stadt? What case is this? Dative or accusative?
It's accusative.
So it shows, what does accusative indicate?
Motion towards something.
Great. So you want to translate that sentence?
Sure. The university attracted numerous students into the city.
Going on. Das Thomas-Kantorat war eines der führenden Kantorate in Deutschland. Go ahead.
Das Thomas-Kantorat war eines der führenden Kantorate in Deutschland.
So your obvious verb is here, obviously, and Thomas Kantorat would be really the office of the Thomas Cantor, which, and the Thomas is referring to the church that where he composed most of his works, in addition to the Nikolai Kirche. So the office of the Thomas Church was one of the. And what is this Führenden with the nd? What part of speech?
That would be a present participle, Ron.
Present participle, yeah. One of the leading offices of the cantor of a cantor in Germany. And going on, und die Thomas-Schule, eine der begehrtesten. Go ahead.
Und die Thomas-Schule, eine der begehrtesten
Ausbildungsstätten für Musiker.
Ausbildungsstätten für Musiker.
Good. So Vara is just repeated here, supply this, and the school, the Thomas School. By the way, this still exists. It's a boy choir, a very world famous boy choir that performs in the Thomas Kirche on a regular basis, weekly basis, except when they're on tour. And the Thomas School was one of the most desired educational centers for musicians. Let's see. You want to just do from here the last sentence so we can follow
Sure.
it?
The position of the Thomas Cantor was one of the leading positions of that type, cantor positions, in Germany. And the Thomas Schule, or the Thomas School, I guess, was one of the most desired educational centers for musicians.
Great, fantastic. Okay, well, thanks so much for tuning in, and look forward to hearing you getting together again later on. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.